Hi guys, so I thought I would just do a very short, spoiler-free review of Star Wars: The Force Awakens. The film was released today in the UK, and it's released tomorrow in the US.
Mike went to see it last night.
Yeah,
at midnight.
I was at midnight. And it was obviously released yesterday in mainland Europe. One of the things that I think's quite remarkable, really, is that the internet doesn't seem awash with spoilers yet.
Oh, I've seen. I don't know if I'm on screen. Doesn't matter. I've seen a lot of people spoiling it on Facebook though. Luckily,
I've not seen anyone.
I don't care about spoilers. I've not seen it yet, but I'm never bothered about spoilers.
I've not seen anyone.
I actually told Mike to spoil it for me.
I've not seen anyone spoiling it on Facebook. So it's going to be a really short review, probably only sort of 5-10 minutes, and I want to just give my thoughts on the film. For a second, I'm gonna, firstly, I'm gonna put it out there. It's better than all three of the prequels. It's easily better than 3, 2, and 1. A lot of people are saying it's better than Return of the Jedi as well. A lot of people are saying it's kind of their second or third favorite Star Wars movie.
See, that I'm actually surprised about, because Return of the Jedi I thought was a surprisingly great film when you get into the specifics of it.
I think quite a lot of people think it's the weaker of the first trilogy. I'm undecided. I love Empire Strikes Back. I feel like
after our talk last week, I actually think A New Hope is the weakest of the original trilogy.
It's tough because I feel like the combination of Larry Kasdan writing it and Ivan Kershner directing it, I feel like Empire Strikes Back was, the strongest of the three.
Easily.
I'm not sure what order the next two would go in. Whether it's A New Hope and
I think I'd prefer
then
to watch
Return of the
Return
Jedi.
of the Jedi.
I think I would prefer to. I think I would prefer to watch it because I think as a kid it was always the one that it was the final fight between Luke and Vader. It was the one that I think was the more exciting, but I'm not sure if it's better.
A lot of people dismiss Return of the Jedi because of the Ewoks, but this is why I said about going into the specifics of the film. These evil little Ewoks, they are evil, they eat people.
But
fair enough, it's probably to defend themselves, but that's not the point. And they worship a...
It's tough because people say Ewoks eat people, but they're a completely different species. We eat other species of animals, so why can't they eat humans?
That's fair enough, actually, yeah. So they're not really evil, but I like to think they are.
They're a bit weird.
Because I like evil.
I've not seen the spin-off movie with Warwick Davis. What's it called?
Spin-off movie?
Ewok spin-off movie, yeah.
I've got it on VHS as well. I can't remember what it is, but I've actually got it, and I haven't seen it, and I don't know why I've got it on VHS.
I don't want to watch it. So I probably think that I probably agree that The Force Awakens is the third best Star Wars movie. I feel like it was an incredibly strong entry in the series. I feel like after 3 disappointing films, I feel like it had to reassert itself. I feel like it had to do the basics right, do the things that the original trilogy did right. I don't think Episode 7 was going to be particularly risky. I think any risks will come in 8 and 9. I feel like they were going to go with a very safe film, which it did. I read another review that said there's not one original idea in Episode 7, and I'm inclined to agree. Actually, that's not necessarily a flaw. Films do not have to be original. If a film does the basics really well, it can be good, and that was what I feel about Episode 7. I feel like it was a tad predictable. I've got some issues. I'm not going to go into any plot details, but I've got a few issues with the sort of resolution to the story. I feel like it was massively rushed. But it was kind of on the back burner as well, because the story is really about the characters. It's about Finn, Rey, Han, Chewie, Kylo. It's about the characters. It's not really about the overarching struggle. So the overarching struggle, the story there is rushed, and that's probably the film's main weakness, I think. The film has plenty of strengths. For a start, it's hella funny. Really funny. You know, BB-8 I thought was going to be a big, fat marketing ploy. It probably is, but it's also an incredibly central and funny character. I would say that some of the happiest and the saddest moments of the film are all sort of BB-8. It's an incredible character, and I was surprised. I think the other strengths regarding characterization, you know, Kylo Ren is a very well fleshed out antagonist, which I'm actually quite surprised about. I was worried that they would just make him two-dimensional and disposable.
Yeah, like just a typical boring villain for the sake of it.
Almost like Darth Maul. I know Darth Maul's been subsequently fleshed out in novels, comics, and the Clone Wars. I worried that they were going to make make Kylo kind of that kind of figure, but it wasn't. It was really, really well written as a character. A lot better written than I thought. It was had a lot more sort of diverse range of emotions. Obviously it's the evil character, but he, you know, did happiness and doubt and sadness and obviously anger, and quite often he was quite psychopathic as well. He's not a nice villain.
He don't kill you with flowers.
No,
but it's like, until you actually said like that about Darth Maul, I've never really thought about it like that. Darth Maul was just a puppet on the string.
And I think
really,
if you...
He was quite a two-dimensional character. He was a decent two-dimensional character, but he was two-dimensional.
I was incredibly two-dimensional. And also, I think I know the expanded universe isn't canon now, however, it's irrelevant because a lot of it's explained also in the Clone Wars. I think Sidious never saw Maul as a proper Sith apprentice, really. Obviously, because at the time...
They just thought...
Palpatine
will use him as a killing machine.
Yeah, because at the time Palpatine was still Plagueis' apprentice. You know, Plagueis was alive up until after Episode 1, I think. Between Episode 1 and 2, Plagueis was killed. So, you know, obviously that would break the rule of 2. So I think Maul was just a tool. It was a tool in a sense of he was a tool for Palpatine, but it was also a story to it as well. He was simply to be the antagonist for this one film before Anakin started to go on his journey to the dark side. So that's one thing that I was really impressed with, and the characterization all around as well. You know, the characters are really well written. You know, Han Solo has that kind of sarcastic swagger that, you know, he always had, and it's really funny. But at the same time, it's a hardened character. I think it's a lot sadder character. I know Harrison Ford said that in an interview. He was a lot more sort of emotionally diverse than he was sort of in the previous trilogy. And you know, Chewbacca's just Chewbacca. Has really good banter between him and Han, and sort of their relationship. And obviously, as I said in interviews, sort of Rey and Finn, you know, obviously come into contact with Han and Chewie. So the banter and the sort of blossoming relationship between them four is probably the highlight of the film. And that, I feel, is the film's main strength, really, that the characters are written so well and the film was genuinely funny. You know, the dialogue wasn't cheesy. Dialogue was good, which I think a lot of the previous dialogue was cheesy.
Especially in the prequels.
There were times in that episode, maybe not so much in 1 actually, but 2 and 3, I think some of the dialogue is cringeworthy. Even when it was really serious, like even when Obi-Wan was telling Padme that Anakin slaughtered all the younglings, it just something about how it was written was just not that sincere. And it was weird, really, even though like it was meant to be a tragic story, really. Obviously, Star Wars, it was meant to be about Anakin's fall and then ultimate redemption, but it was about Anakin's tragic decline. And I never felt there was that much emotion in the prequel trilogy at all. Like, even when they wanted to obviously make it an emotional journey. It wasn't sad. But whereas in Its 7, for example, there's a scene, and this is not a direct spoiler, there's a scene where BB-8 looks really sad. And I was almost in tears about that.
And that's a robot.
It's a fucking robot. Whereas
droid.
Hayden Christensen acting like a robot, I thought was a hell of a lot less sad than BB-8 looking sad.
Yeah.
So I feel that was the film's main strength. It also looked amazing for a start. It was a lot less CGI than I'd expect. It was, again, as people have said, there's physical sets. Every single alien, with the exception of obviously Snoke and Maz Kanata, were costumes.
And what was the film's main weakness?
So the film's main weakness was the overarching plot. But again, it's because it's the first in a trilogy. I imagine the overarching plot in this one is probably irrelevant. I imagine the main conflict's going to
come into play.
Yeah. So I imagine the main plot in this film, obviously regarding Starkiller Base. That's not a spoiler. That's been released by now. It's just it feels like a lazy plot vehicle, really. The whole thing's just resolved a bit too, and you never feel the threat. You never feel any real sense of threat from the First Order, which I feel is odd. But I feel like when things are explored further in the subsequent films, I feel like, again, that'll be a lot more to be realised. I can't really use this as a criticism, but I feel like quite a few characters in the film were shortchanged. Phasma, Snoke, pretty much every rebel, with the exception of Leia, had no scene, had very little to do in the film, had very little. I think Billy Lord, who's obviously Carrie Fisher's daughter, I don't think she has one line in the film, and she's probably in it for 30 seconds. R2 is in it for a short time. And a lot of the, as you said as well, the older trilogy characters are in it, with the exception of Han and Chewie.
It's basically trying to focus on
passing the torch,
new story, new characters.
Passing the torch.
Key question is though, Mike, is the hype real?
Yeah, it really is. It's a film that, as I said, it looks amazing. The lack of CGI and the rail sets, that it feels good.
It feels like Star Wars should.
I've got one issue with the character writing that bugged me. John Boyega as Finn puts on an American accent, and he does it a bit too stereotypical black guy. He's a bit over the top. He overacts it a bit, like hell no, and all stuff like that. It goes. Right, okay. He's a bit. It's probably not how it's written. I feel that he overacts.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah, but I feel like he overacts it a bit too much, and that's the only niggling thing I had with the acting in the film.
That really nearly sounded racist.
But it wasn't intended to be. A few people, it was weird, really. Like a few reviews, I think, said how stellar Daisy Ridley was. Then one review is Panda, and I think she's maybe a tiny bit wooden, but there's some definite character progression there. Yeah. I'm still not 100% sure that I like her as an actress.
She seems, I've seen her only in interviews. She seems like a nice girl. She's got a massive smile. She's not the stereotypical Hollywood good-looking actress, but she is a pretty lass. And I think this is obviously only based on the trailers, because that's what I've seen. That type of actress, like her, fits the role of what she is in the trailers.
Obviously, Rey. Instead Rey is a scavenger living alone. She's scavenges parts and sells them to a junk dealer who's Simon Pegg in a costume. But she's a scavenger, and she's not really. I think as Gwendolyn Christie said multiple times about Phasma, although Daisy Ridley's attractive, she's not sexualized.
No.
In the film anyway. Like, not 1 minute she even wears clothing that's anywhere revealing.
Bikini for her.
She never wears, she's never made up, never got a hair. Like, she's looks like quite a rough character, and and that fits it really well. I think she's a well written character, and I feel like her story is one of the more interesting, with the exception of probably Kylo Ren, I would think. But her story is the one I'm looking probably the most forward to seeing flowering, really. Yeah. But I'm still not 100% sure that she's amazing as. But I'm not decided. I'll rewatch it and then decide what I feel about Daisy Ridley.
So just based on the seeing it the once in the cinema and your thoughts since watching it, who are your favourite and least favourite characters? Obviously, no spoilers, but just based on what you've seen, who are your favourite and least favourite?
I think even though there's wonderful characters, Oscar Isaac as Per Dameron, really, really sort of. It's the new Han Solo. It's obviously got that swagger. It's funny, and again BB-8, fucking hilarious. John Boyega, hilarious. Again, it's really funny, but it's just again a bit too over the top. But it's really funny. But I feel like because of how three-dimensional it is, I feel Kylo Ren is probably the strongest character.
Your least favourite?
In the film. I kind of feel that Phasma was... I'm only going to say she's my least favourite because I feel that she was underused and sidelined, really. She's a character that's been huge in the marketing campaign.
Yeah.
And she was probably on screen... She probably had about 5 lines and she was on screen for... not that much, really. And... I don't want to spoil it, but there was, her last scene as well, and I don't feel like the character was well written. So she's my least favourite character in the film.
And then with me, obviously, I don't even know if you can see me. I'll have to watch it when it comes out on Blu-ray to let you know, unless I end up going to see it in the cinema while it's still on. But yeah,
I was quite surprised that the Chuckle Brothers had a cameo in the film.
Chuckle of Oz.
There was a cantina scene. That's been released already. Not the scene, but cantina scene at Maz Kanata's castle. It all felt very much like Star Wars.
Was there?
It was weird. It felt a bit more real world. I think it may because JJ wrote the dialogue so well. It felt a hell of a lot more realistic than. Even the original trilogy, I felt was better, a hell of a lot better written than the prequel trilogy.
Yeah,
just felt real, and that was probably had a lot to do with the real sets and the fact how it was shot. It was amazingly well done.
Although it's been confirmed, obviously, that there is no Jar Jar Binks in the film. Are there anything else from the prequel films in it? Is there any mention of midichlorians, for example?
Nope.
Thank God for that. Anything else that you can think of that's from them?
Apart from maybe people have seen it in the trailer, pod racing flags outside Maz Kanata's castle.
That's fine, I guess.
And maybe some of the alien species were from the prequel trilogy.
Right.
However, no, there is nothing from the prequel trilogy. I don't think.
Is Samuel L. Jackson in the film?
No.
I like Samuel L. Jackson, and I only ask because he's in everything now.
No, there's not been a reincarnated Mace Windu.
I couldn't even remember that he died. Well,
go and see it. That's my recommendation. Go and see The Force Awakens.
So I'll have to go see it.
Watch it twice, and it's not I'm not going to sit here and say it's perfect. It's not a perfect film. But you'll laugh. If you're that way inclined, you'll probably break down in tears. You'll clap at the end. It's a genuinely good film. That's my final opinion. Good. Go and watch it.